Hey guys, back here with another video. So in this particular video, what I've done is I've created this new AI agent that serves like an external memory. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So typically when you go on a website or watch a video, you're going to take in a certain percentage of that information. And what we do, we typically bookmark the link and refer to it back later when we want to try to remember something that it might say. And then what happens is that you end up having to look for that bookmark, especially these days with a lot of information that we're saving. It's really hard to keep track of it. Wouldn't it be nice if you can basically have your agent store all that information so that if you do have a thing you're like, man, if I remember what that was, and you don't have to go and looking for the link, you can just ask your agent a question and it will have all that information in it. And so this is what this agent really is all about. And we're going to be able to access it through the browser extension for the most part, but there's also the chat interface, but also through Cloud Code. And here's the GitHub repo for the MindStudio agent that you can just set up MindStudio to connect with Cloud Code and to do that. And I'll show you in a second what that looks like. But essentially, the way this works is that we start off with this here. It's a browser extension, and it basically just takes the information on the web page, and this can be the YouTube video, and then creates a document within our data source. And the block that I'm using is called an upload data source block. And if you're not familiar, the blocks here under data sources has been updated with a bunch of new blocks, and they're very powerful and they can get you to do stuff like this. So I've used one of them here, and once I've created that document, then I turn it into a RAG interface where I can just chat with and ask questions. Okay, and this final block here is just in case you are just looking to chat with the web page and you don't want to store that information, you can go ahead and delete it. And so as you can see, I got 3 documents saved here. It doesn't matter what the name of the document is. I've stored it as obviously as document content, but it's basically knowledge that this AI agent has. And one of them is this YouTube video that I watched, and I thought it was a lot of information here, and I want to be able to access the information anytime. Let's say I have a question, I can always ask that. And another one is the Anthropic page here, which was built with Claude. And then another one was the multi-agent orchestration, Snowflake. So this is another one. But as you can see, they're completely different information, but yet they're all accessible now through this. So essentially the way it works is, let's say I go on this page, I go to the MindStudio extension and I pull it up, I press run, and what it'll do is it will go through and basically extract all the content on this page and then upload it. And now I can carry that with me. And this agent now is a lot smarter. As ChatGPT or Claude, it's not going to have this kind of information that's stored inside YouTube videos or this kind of places. And sometimes these things are released and they're just not updated yet. Now, going back to what I mentioned about Cloud Code, I've already gone ahead and connected MindStudio with Cloud Code. So if you haven't done that, I would highly recommend it. I'll make a separate thing about that as well. But for now, I just want to show you how it works. So essentially what you can do is you can connect to a particular agent and a particular flow in that agent by just through Cloud Code. And you would do that by typing MindStudio, run agent. You would have the app ID here and then flow. And this is the name of the flow. As you can see here, just going back real quick. The flow that we're using is chat with data that I've set up. And just real quick, what that's also doing is that it has a launch variable called query, which we are sending through Cloud Code. And then we are turning that query into a RAG optimized query with AI, and then querying the database or our data source, and then basically sending the results back. Okay. And so that's what this query really is, that initial launch variable that gets sent through. And then as you can see, goes through, does that, and then so I asked the question like, what are the steps to finding a customer? And obviously that was related to that Y Combinator video. So it went through, found that information, and there we go, we got everything. So we can actually access this through Cloud Code as well.